Hi there, I'm Bob Burridge and welcome back to another BobBlast. Hey, I'm here in the Artisan Santa Fe Expo. Sunday morning, getting ready for another class. We've been having a couple of days of fantastic classes where we're teaching lights and darks and color and design and different compositions. And this morning I'm getting ready for my Sunday morning class. So it's all about lights and darks, dramatic lighting and dramatic coloring. Pretty soon I'll be taking you into the class. They're going to be showing up pretty soon, so let's get started. Now I want you to imagine this. This is what we're going to do first. Imagine a white ball, beach ball sitting here. We turn off all the lights. Turn off all the lights. Pitch black in here. I'm going to get Paige a flashlight. And she's going to turn the flashlight on this ball. What's going to happen in pitch blackness? This side of the ball is going to be nice and white. This side of the ball is not going to be light at all. It's going to stay black. Light doesn't go around the corner. Think of the moon. Very much think of the moon. So that light beam, though, continues on and lights the wall back here. So what you have here, if you had to paint that, you have dark against light, dark against light. Well, once I do that, if you can do that, you can paint anything. Anything. So what we're going to start off with is, here's the paper. I can start off with either black or gray or white. Remember, these are the three values we're going to be working with. Right? The first thing I'm going to have us do is put gray down. We'll start off with a midtone. It's called a midtone. So we're going to put down a 5. All right. Always begin a painting with a midtone. No matter what the dominant color is, it's going to be the midtone of that dominant color. Here we go. So I have black, I have white, water, paper towels. I'm just going to make a light gray here. Rub it in.
I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
Do you underpaint your work?
What do you mean by underpaint?
Start out with covering the white.
I start off by making a mess. I'm kidding you, really. Under every great painting is a great abstract painting. As opposed to waiting to the end of the day to get a mess. I start off with a mess. Get that part out of the way. Now you got the painting. You guys work all day long and by 5 o'clock, oh, what a mess. I start off with a mess. Get it out of the way. And that way I can kind of play with it. So, I mean, but it's always the dominant color first. Here I'm just working with black and white. So here's a midtone. And how do I know that is, how do I know that's a midtone? Well, if I can see those, now I know it's a midtone. This is not rocket science, all right? We're playing in the sandbox is what we're doing. So I'm going to make this midtone. So I'm halfway done. We're in black and whites. All right, so I'm going to paint the ball. If you're right-handed, put the things on the right side. If you're left-handed, put things on the left side. It's amazing how you guys sabotage yourselves. You do anything to avoid painting. Okay, here we go. And I get the water way over here. So you just have a bucket of water. I like a wide mouth bucket of water, low, like a Tupperware, as opposed to these big things here. People go. Okay, I know you're doing that thing. But I got a big bucket of water. I actually have 5-gallon buckets of water around me sitting on cinder blocks, and it's on the same level. So I'm like this. It's a lot faster. It's a lot faster. You learn these things after 25 years in the studio. Okay, so here we go, the ball, simple ball. So here we have a simple ball. There you go. Sitting on a table. The light is coming this direction. Some people will actually put an arrow on there. I need all the help I can get. So I'll put an arrow on the table to remind me that's where the light is. Now this is where we start to paint. Yay, we're gonna start to paint. Halfway done, I'm gonna put the lightest lights in now, and then we'll put the darks. So short, choppy strokes. Don't start blending. This is not an airbrush class. Short, choppy strokes, just like the French Impressionists. Okay. Now, that's the bright side of that ball. Remember how the light bulb, the beam of light goes across and then lights back here. So here we go. Let some of that gray peek through. This is the painting. So we're at this level. Just pick it up, show. We're at this level. My midtones are done. I'm putting in my brightest brights at this point. Okay? Now, I put in my darkest darks. Short, choppy strokes. Here we go. Again, let some of that gray peek through. That's what gives it its je ne sais quoi. He speaks French too. That boy's crazy.
Yes.
We know that. Short, choppy strokes. Show people the brush strokes. Show them how exciting it is to be a painter, not how boring it is. Here we go. Keep some of that gray tone in here. There we go. Dramatic. And here's the shadow, starting from the center. The shadow actually helps people know where the light's coming from. The shadow's going away from the light must be coming over here. So we're at this level.
How's there white over there? Did it come over the top of the ball?
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
This is going to be a hard thing for a lot of us to even think about. Because you don't think there's two kinds of light sources. I made a chart. Here we go. This is my chart. I made these charts for me to hang in the studio. There's the other charts. I made these charts for me as quick reminders. And someone came into the studio and said, "Wow, this is such a good idea. You should sell charts." I said, "I'm not in the business of selling charts. I don't want to sell." So they're back there for sale. So anyway, so what I am showing here, there are two kinds of light beams, two kinds of light sources: a dramatic light and more natural light. So the natural light would be like if you open up your, we call it a broad beam light. Like you open up your garage door and you have all that brightness. As you get deeper into the garage, into your garage, you go past your Mercedes towards the washer and dryer machine, it gets darker. That's natural. Broad beam light, like the Vermeer painting of the girl with the golden earring. There she is, sewing, and the light's coming through the window. It's the only light they had. So it was all natural. There we get that chiaroscuro kind of a light effect as your eye goes into the painting. But then there's the dramatic one, a theatrical light, a spotlight. And that's the one I'm doing right now. So they're just very dramatic. So I'm going to have lights just like this, very theatrical. So I'm going to have my dark against light, dark against light. So and I'm using big broad strokes so you can actually see the brush strokes. So now I'm going to go back the second time.
Basically, the ball's smaller than the light source.
The ball is smaller than the light source? Now you're confusing me. Gotta be an engineer. Gotta be an engineer in here. So let me go back and do it again on the second level. So I'm going to make the table a little bit lighter. Just a little bit lighter. So I can tell it's sitting on a table. Go back and make the brights brighter, just like that. Kick it in even more. And now here we go, it's more blending. But the blending is not like a typical blending. We're going to show the brush marks. Show all the brush marks. There we go. Again, this is not rocket science. It's not engineering. This is called painting. That's what we're doing right now. Short, choppy strokes. And that is done as far as being dramatic. Light against dark, light against dark. That's just black and white, light against dark, light against dark. And you know, you gotta look at your painting from a distance and away from where you created it. See what happens.
Yeah.
See how you see the painting?
Yeah.
You can't judge your painting by staring at it on the table because too many things are distracting us. So either put it on a piece of white paper or an old discarded mat while you're doing it. Cool. Because I have all that barrier cream in my hands. From Skin Safer. It's great barrier cream and it makes it easier to clean your hands at the end of the day.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
So you'll use that for your hands?
You can use that for your hands also. And brush cleaner too. They make a hand and brush cleaner. All right, let's come up. I'm going to do now fruits and vegetables. Oh gosh, no, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. We're still working with black and white because that's the dramatic lighting we're working on. Okay? Circles, triangles, and squares should be all right. So, what's a pear? A pear is nothing more than a circle with a triangle on the top. Done, sitting on a table. See how complicated that was? So I'm gonna kind of not make it look like a Jack in the Box. There we go. So I'm going to give it a little bit of personality here. There's your pear. Gave it a little bit of a buttocks there too. Everyone loves to buy pears. I don't know why until they get it home they realize, oh my gosh, I just bought a painting of the buttocks. So here we go. There's your ball. There's your triangle on the top. Light against dark. I'm gonna put this right next to it. Just remember what we're doing. Short, choppy strokes. Here we go. Here's the white. Short, choppy strokes on this one side. Right? There we go. And while that white's on my brush, come over here. Do the background over here. Show the brush mark. Show people how exciting it is to be a painter, not how boring it is. Now, mid-tone, brightest brights, now the darkest darks. Comes your darks, short, choppy strokes. More black on this side. There we go. Now we blend it a little bit, not blending like airbrush, but short, choppy strokes. There we go. And the table wants to be a little bit lighter. By making a table a little bit lighter, I'll be able to see the shadow. I can create my own shadow just by picking up the gray that's already on there. Anchoring it, make sure you anchor it. It helps to, otherwise it's floating in the air. I want to give it some personality here. If it starts to look like a buttocks, it's because I'm trying to. There you go. Fingers. And give it a highlight. A little highlight here, a little highlight here. I spent a whole year doing fruits and vegetables. It taught me how to paint. It didn't move. So what we have here is dark against light, dark against light. So we'll do this. Now let's go do that one. On your desk, to show you the variations of things you could do in one simple little composition. And I also have here the compositions. So these are the things that you play with. I'm just going to read it for you real fast. Various ways to play within the composition design. So you choose a design, let's say horizontal. So within that, how do you make it not so boring? These are the ways you can make it not so boring. You have repetition of shapes. One of them is a different one. You have contrasting and value, really dark, really light. You have harmony, everything is the same, it all holds it together. And you have one focal point. So you play with all these elements when you're in here so you don't get bored, all right? So here's one I just got started. It's an old one. This was one of my earlier demos, talking about the color wheel. I'm going to keep with this color wheel. So the dominant color is going to be red, focal point will be blue. So again, I'm just going to play with all the different reds first, right? Different kinds of reds. Different kinds of reds. Now, there we go, more red. I'm bringing some black in here. Oh no, he's using black, yay. Now, while it's still wet, I'm going to scrape and scratch into it, bringing out the other reds. The composition is going to be asymmetrical, means off balance. So my focal point, already I've determined it. This is my focal point right in here. There you are. Add some white to that focal point, in case you missed it. There you go. Focal point. Green, Kelly green is my spice color. Kelly green is my spice color. Here we go. There you are, Kelly green. Very little bit. The other colors are dark purple. Dark purple. Dark purple. There you are. I'll put it next to it. Maybe right in here. Now I'm going to go. Now I get to play. I have the elements down. Now I get to play. I'm going to add more white in this. There we go. Make this brighter. Whoa. I didn't like the half and half, so I'm changing the half and half here. Oh, what a beautiful color that is. Still off balance. Bring in some more black up here. Watch how that color pops when you add black. Scraping, I believe a brush has two front ends. Scraping and scratching this way too. Still dominant red. I lose it every once in a while. When I lose it, I'll bring it back. Now we're painting. More white over here. Ooh, I like it. Again, this is nothing but a series of what if. What if I try this? What if I do that? So maintaining the composition off balance, and it is also overlapping squares. You can have up to 2 compositions. Don't have 3, it starts to fall apart. So this is off balance, asymmetrical, and it's also overlapping squares. In case you miss it, there's a square. There you go. Some people are kind of slow on that. So I'm softening some of this too. I'm softening the edges as I go away from the focal point. The focal point will always be the hardest edge. It's in focus, remember? Come back, correct some of this color. Get in, get out, don't stay there too long. Purple. With purple. Purple. Ah, that's nice. Wow. And all this, what I'm really doing here, this is a series of what if. What if I try this? What if I try that? If it doesn't work, hey, it's painting. It's cool. At this point, and then, again, it's not done. Pretty dramatic. So we have a lot of contrast. There's your color wheel, mostly red, blue. It's your focal point. It's all based on the composition of squares, overlapping frames. This color is everywhere, but it's mostly here because that's the pure color. Softer colors over here. You don't want to take this color and put it over here again. Again, watch what would happen if I put a solid color over it before your eye goes. It bounces right over there. So because you don't want it to be pure colors, you want to soften that color. Here we go. Oh, it's getting better. It's acting like a blue hue. I really like this area a lot. Not necessarily this. And I would see it because I have it on top of this white. I wouldn't have seen that if it was sitting on the table. You see?
Do you ever put stuff up on the wall and then walk away from it?
Every day,
okay.
all the time.
So you really can have a
Oh, I've always put it on the wall.
distance.
Have you seen my wall in the studio? I can't put any web paintings up in here. But absolutely. That's why I say stand back. Get back. You're all painting too close. You can't see the painting. So stand back, get it up on the wall. The reason you don't do that is because you don't want to see what you know you're going to see. Oh, no, what a terrible painting. Right? But that's why you get it up on the wall so you can look at it and make the corrections. See where it's going. I really like where this is going myself. Wow. Ooh, scraping and scratching. Here it comes. Nice, I like it. Okay, that's it. So there's your painting. Thank you very much. Now let's go play. And so there you have it. Thanks for watching me walk around doing these little demos. It was fun. We all had a great time in here this morning, about 20-some people in here painting. So again, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the week. I'll see you on the next BobBlast. This and goofing around like this, you know, you're going to see something you probably would have never seen yourself ever having done before, and that's what I went for. And this is a pretty simple design, and everything's right in the middle. Very strong structural. I have a lot of contrast. I made the back slightly bluish because cool colors recede. I could have used blue or green. I used a light blue here, and warm colors come forward. So I cheated there. I kind of abandoned the color wheel at this moment because right now it's half bluish and half reddish. So I snuck in a little bit of red up in here, so it's not all bluish up in here. You see my logic on this? I wanted to push the background way far away and not have any of the collage be really hard collage images. They're soft images. If I had a hard edge up in here, your eye like this, your eye's gonna go right to it. You see, gonna go right to it. So I softened the background, made it bluish with a little bit of that opera, and a little bit of that blue. Now I have that little, so it still kind of has a warm tone to the blue. Blue tends to be cold, so I added that opera to the blue, give it that periwinkle color, and just added a little bit around here. Notice I didn't do the whole thing. So I didn't want to cut the painting in half. So all I have to do now, so it is, I would call it loosely it's a warm red painting if you go to my color wheel. So the focal point, if you go to my color wheel, so I need to put blue in there somewhere, the opposite. Let me see, here we go. Color wheel, we'll see red, sorry. I need to get the focal point in here. So the focal point may be a ribbon in her hair, something like that. It doesn't have to be some strong thing. For instance, here we go. I'll do it. I'll get out the right blue. Here we go. Bit of white in there. Okay, cool. Here we go. A little white in here. That's the color I want. Your eyes should go, your eye will go right to it. So we'll just add a little bit of something like this. It's crazy ribbon. Just to give you an idea where I would put this. Where I would put this. I mean, look where your eye goes. I'm changing the different kinds of blues in here right now. So I'm painting with my fingers. Yeah, he's painting with his fingers. It's Spanish days in Santa Barbara. They have little flowers over here. So see where your eye goes? There's that blue spot. So it doesn't have to be big. In fact, it's pretty small because it's in an area of all blue, right? And I mean all red. And so put a little bit of blue. Bam! Look where your eye goes. There's the opera singer in the big stage of all red. So where are the two spice colors? Well, the spice colors will be yellow, green, and this blue. So let's do it. Do all your mixing on the table. Don't do your mixing up in here. So I need to punch up that little focal point. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Wow.
Je ne sais quoi, a little bit. Ooh, right? So put it over here. Now I can put it somewhere else. Now watch what happens. Be careful. Don't do that because your eye went right there.
Yeah.
Your eye went right there. If you are putting it somewhere else, you soften it up. Just soften it. Water is your friend. It's there. But the pure colors are on the focal point.
Okay.
And that's pretty much done. These are the secret lovers in the circus. And that's how I paint.